What's up, everybody? Everybody, a couple minutes to come in. We're out here tonight. We're supposed to have a couple more people. Looks like they got tied up, so we'll get started here. I'm getting the tablet fired up so I can see what's going on with you guys and read your comments. Hello, everybody in YouTube land. How's it going, guys? We got one viewer. Who's in there? Hey, Roy boy, how's it going? We're getting set up here. How's it going? I got two in here now. Let's see who's in here. How's it going, everybody? I'm getting set up here. Okay. This thing works. How's it going, everybody? All right. Now we're good here. We can see some chat going on. We got a thumbs up. Let's see what we got in here. We get your live chat going here so I can say hello to everybody. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Hello, hello, hello. We got three on here. How's it going, guys? I'm trying to get this chat working here so I can see what you guys are talking about. My helper dipped out on me tonight. Sorry, guys, for making you wait. I'll be in here 1 second. Trying to get my chat up and working here so I can see what's going on. Who all I got on here right now? If not, I'll just pull it off and we'll go old school. Sorry, guys, I was supposed to have a few more people. Ended up not showing up. It happens. How's it going, everybody? We're out here in the shop tonight. Seeing what's going on. We got Roy Boy, got Pro Charge Mopar. Hello, everybody. What's going on, Schultz? There we go. Let's quit screwing with the camera and see what's going on. How's everybody going? Thanks for everybody joining in. Said we was hoping to have a few more people out here, but it happens. He got tied up. Had to wait on some stuff. So Tommy should be along. I just figured I'd pop in, take 30 minutes or so, say what's going on with this week. Luckily, we got the camper straightened out. The transmission's not in yet, but we got the one out. I'm sure most of you have seen the video. We didn't damage the case, so that's good. So we'll be able to put that back together and get it up and running for us. Glad that happened because it could have been ugly. And I'm planning on taking that to Sykeston, so I definitely needed it running. Hi, Amanda. You should have stopped in and just been here live. I know you was busy, though. Let me get on the tripod here. Oh. So, yeah, I mean, it's... But today's the last day of June, isn't it? Yeah, 1 month of summer gone already. That's crazy. We're getting closer to Sykeston, I see. Yeah, it'll be coming up soon. The 727 Roy Boy, it's tore apart right now. I got to order a sprag for it. It said it didn't tear the case up, so we got real lucky on that because I've taken a few of them apart and it's just gutted the sprag. Yeah, they're getting shorter. They said we pretty much made the executive decision. We're going to run to 440. Like I said, it's done good. It's never broke down on the side of the road. Now I just jinxed myself for that. The only problem I've ever had is when we first got the thing, the from setting so long, the thing set for years when we bought it, and we had an issue with the front band, the low reverse band, so we lost forward gears on the way home from a camping trip one time. Well, luckily we was only a few miles from home, and we drug it the rest of the way home with a pickup truck. But so we're gonna keep the 440 in there. I gotta change the water pump in it, which is no big deal. It takes a standard 440 water pump. Those are pretty simple to change. We can change those in half hour tops in there. Everything's pretty accessible in there. See that? I got to put a wheel cylinder on. I've looked for a couple trucking places. Well, I wanted you to be here. You were busy. I didn't want to bother you. You were doing what you were doing, Amanda. When you're doing stuff, I don't try not to bother you. I let you do what you got to do. But yeah, we're gonna run the 440. We're gonna use it to tow the trailer, so that's good. That'll save us a little bit. I gotta replace the rear wheel cylinder on there. I gotta order it from. Oh, there's like one place online I was looking. They give me a part number for a Napa part number, so I'm gonna try to pull that out. I mean, it should be. That's a medium duty chassis on there. So hopefully Napa will have the part. I mean, Napa usually had the front brake pads and stuff for the thing through the years. I got a stack of 6 fresh tires over here for it in the corner to put on. So we're covered in the tire department. Water pump, wheel cylinder, and this tranny, everything. I got a shift kit to put in it too, RV style, which I guess that's really what the RV was for. So we got an RV style shift kit to go in it. We'll get it up and running. I got to replace the deck on the trailer real quick, but with the miracle of tech screws, now that I can afford lumber, it won't be nothing to throw a deck on there. So maybe pick up some tires for it. But other than that, we should be ready. I mean, this will be the longest trip I've ever towed anything. I mean, we've towed to the track. Or tracks, multiple tracks, and when we run dirt or when we run with the drag strip playing around, we've towed a lot of tracks, within a couple hours. I've never towed this far. I think it's Google Maps says Sykeston's 10 hours away, so it should be a fun road trip. Hopefully, like I said, I heard some people talking about convoying out there, so maybe we got some guys on the East Coast that'll be passing through close by here. Maybe we can all meet up together and hang out together. I think between the group of us, we should have enough tools to pretty much rebuild anything on a road. I mean, worst case scenario, I guess if the transmission goes out of the motorhome, the only thing I'd have to do, I could just pull a 6-liter and a transmission out of the car and slap in the motorhome and have a drive shaft. We could weld one up, I guess. I've welded drive shafts up for 4-wheel drive buggies out of fence posts in a pinch to get out of the woods, so I guess we could always slap the motor out of the car in the motorhome if we were stuck on the side of the road and had no other way to get home. Oh yeah, I'll be going over the bearings. I'm gonna rebuild everything. The equalizer bars, all the spring bushings. I'm gonna go everything on the trailer. Like I said, we've towed the trailer locally. It's made hour trips. So yeah, when you're on the interstate running 65, 70 miles an hour. For hours at a time, you build a lot of heat up in them bearings. But luckily, mine has the 10,000-pound hubs on it, so they run pretty cool when you got a car on it. You have to have a lot of weight, but so that should be good. But yeah, definitely, the trailer will probably get new bearings. Maybe. I'll check them because the old bearings in there might be better than anything we can buy from the parts store right now. So as long as they're clean and smooth, maybe we'll just clean them, repack them, and put them back in. Because the stuff coming from the parts stores is garbage, so that's true. I mean, other than that, yeah, it'd be awesome, like I said, all of us meet up, because then we'd have all the tools we need. I could see us, that would make a good adventure, make some good YouTube content, all of us on the side of the road, pulling a motor out of a car, sticking the motor home to continue down the road. But I mean, there's a guy. I don't know if you guys have seen Fuel Injection Sucks channel. He's got a 6 liter. He's got a. It's a newer than mine. It's like a 77 or 78 motorhome, Winnebago. He got a 6 liter with a GT45 turbo on it. He uses it. He's from like York. They use that. They tow their car down to Ocean City when they get down there for the fall cruise. But I want to keep my Mopar all Mopar. I really don't want to put an LS in there. But if I was on the side of the road and need to get home, then we'll do whatever we got to do. Let's see. Other than that, what's new around the shop? Nothing. The transmission's done. The car's not broke. We had a big car show the other night. Oh yeah, there's always a will to wait. Well, you know that. Whatever you got to do, you can rig up something. I mean, we've used logs for leaf springs and chained them in place to drive out of the woods. Because that's one good thing of all the years of off-roading experience we've done through the years. I've learned how to make just about anything work when you're in a pinch. You're out in the woods and you break a leaf spring, find a log, it's 3 or 4 inches in diameter and long enough. Set it on the spring hanger, set the weight of the axle down on it, chain it, the axle to the log, and then run a chain from the rear of the frame to the axle and then pull it tight with a winch cable to locate the axle forward and back and drive out. Done that. Look at all the stuff we've done at the falls through the years to get home. So that's always one fun thing to do, and that's a lot of things I've learned how to drive in the snow because of off-road. I've learned how to get myself pretty much unstuck out of any situation because of off-road. I mean, I've been in this car thing for over 30 years. I've been in the car game. Yeah, like I said, we've done some doozies. I see Dwayne's on there. He's seen some stuff to where we've had trucks with a bad alternator and just drive close enough together to run a set of jumper cables from one truck to the other. That way your alternator can charge your buddy while he drives out of the woods. Because where we go is pretty deep and you're not getting anything but an off-road vehicle back in there. So you're not getting your tow rig down into there to get you out. I've seen guys make skids and strap to the bottom of an axle and just use it as a skid and just drag a wheel out. With a broken axle, where you have an axle break in the front. So on the Toyota axles, they're notorious. If you break a front axle, you can wipe the kingpin out and pull the knuckle off right as it comes apart. So I've seen guys just literally take a long enough, like a 10-foot log, put it underneath the front axle of the steering knuckle there, chain it to it, use it as a skid to drive out of the truck, or out of the woods, even if you got a back out. We've been down there at the falls and used a pair of vice grips for a steering wheel. Man, I'm trying to think of all the stuff we've come up with down there. 2 batteries in series and a set of jumper cables to weld something together to drive it out. I mean, you can make just about any mount. A chain and the bolts an old school ratchet strap. Get a long enough bolt through a chain, you can crank it down and make it out. As for the car, like I said, we went to the car show the other night. I appreciate everybody that tuned in for that, watched the videos. We got good feedback on that. We're working on getting our hours caught up, so we're almost there. It's crazy, we ended up with the subscribers, but not the hours, so we're a little behind on that. I think we're like, as of this live stream, we had 2,600 watch hours, so we're trying to get there to that 4,000. We got the views, but we're trying to get there. Good evening, Unfinished Project. I showed that Dart Sport for you the other night at the car show. You were the first person I thought of when I seen it. I was like, look, Dart Sport. But yeah, thanks for popping in. We're just sitting around the shop right now, much enjoying the cool evening air. It's finally cooled off a little bit. Oh, let's see. Yeah. Hey, you got some nice Mopars, Unfinished Project. I was checking your channel out. That truck's pretty nice. The one I seen you at the drag strip with, I think it's pretty cool. I've had a lot of old short bed Rams through the years. Wish I would have kept some of them. I had a really nice 80 short step side bed 4-wheel drive. I can't even remember what the heck I traded it for. Years ago, I think I traded it for a Geo Tractor or something because I needed parts for my Samurai. I wanted the motor out of the Tracker to do the 1.6 swap in the Samurai, and I think I traded that truck for it. I mean, it didn't need a lot of body work. It was a typical Northeast truck, but it had a 318 in it, and it ran good. Sticky calipers, I know those. I've dealt with my share of those. I had one stuck on my truck a couple years ago. We was taking the camper up the main highway there. My mom was following me going up, and she called me on cell phone. She's like, "Hey, you got sparks coming out of your front wheel." I pulled over, and the wheel was smoking hot from the caliper being stuck. But old 460, it didn't even notice it. I got out there when it was hot, and I beat it with that 3/4 ton Ford. Got a giant tire tool. I got out and beat the back of the caliper with it while it was hot, and it freed it up. And then, since the other brakes were working, I stuck a pair of vice grips on the rubber line. That way that caliper didn't extend back out and jam again, and I just drove it from there the rest of the way on 3-wheel brakes. That's another good tech tip for the couple people that's watching. If you have a leaking wheel cylinder or a leaking caliper or a brake line leaking on an axle, if you got a rubber brake line upstream, man, throw a pair of vice grips, clamp that rubber line tight. It'll save you from having to break the line off and beat it shut. I mean, you can replace the line once you get the parts and fix it, but I've had success even once you took the vice grips off, the line just come right back to normal. And I've had some of them I've done years ago, and I still have those lines on my car with no problem. That is a trick if you have access, but sometimes it's hard if you either got a little screw or a little nail, like a drywall nail. You can take the brake line off at the master cylinder on the one that's busted, stick that nail in there with the pointy end of the nail sticking into the line and the flat head at the end of the fitting, and snug that fitting down, and you'll block that line off without breaking it. And when you get home, you fix the line that's leaking, you can just take that line off and pull that nail back out and bleed that line up, and there you didn't have to damage the steel line to prevent the brake fluid loss. My 4-wheel and buggy, I actually carry some screws in the glove compartment that fit perfect in the brake lines to make block offs like that. That way if we have an issue in the woods. You know, the last time we was out, we drove it home, and I had a caliper. It just, instead of sticking, it blowed the seal out about a mile from the house as we was driving it back. It was a fun ride. Well, I was trained to be a mechanic. I mean, I've done it literally since before I was old enough to drive. I was a mechanic, but I don't do it by trade, because if I'd done it every day as a job, I'd get so burned out on it. I mean, there's nothing more depressing on me than just have to day in, day out work on other people's stuff, have them pull it and just do that monotonous, oh, I need brakes change, I need a transmission, I need a motor, I need a water pump. That just sucks all the joy out of it. So, I mean, me personally, I've always either dabbled in construction, and lately I've been hooked up with the guy that's on here. We do swimming pools, but that way I'm not burned out. When I get done working in the afternoon, I come home and I actually feel like popping the hood on my car and working on it. It's like I said, you get burned out real quick if you do it every day. And I know the times where I've had to do mechanic work to get by, everything I owned was in complete disrepair, because by the time I got done looking at someone else's, I didn't want to touch mine. So, I mean, that just sucks all the joy out of the hobby. So, yeah, I've always done it that way. Like I said, mostly I've done construction. I like to be outside. I love the warm weather. So, me, there's nothing better than being out in the sunshine. I don't care if it is 90 or 95 degrees. I would still rather be out in the sunshine working than stuck in some office building or some warehouse or something, or even in some garage just working on boring appliances that have no soul anymore. None of these, it's like nothing made after 2000 really has a soul to it. It's just an appliance. It's designed to get you there and back. I think that's kind of what's killing our car culture, is just, there's nothing that grabs you about cars anymore. They're all basically, heck, you can't tell them apart anymore. And me, as a lifetime car guy, down the road, you can't tell the difference anymore half the time from a Camry or a Ford or a Hyundai or any of them. I mean, I've walked out a couple times. Amanda's on her, and she'll say, she laughs at me because I've walked out. If there's a white Kia sitting in the parking lot, and she has a white Hyundai Sonata, and I'll try to open up, I'll be walking over to the Kia, and she's like, where are you going? They all look the same. It's nothing against them. I mean, it's a good, reliable transportation, but they all look the same. It's like every silver or gray SUV on the road today. They all look the same. It's like refrigerators running down the highway. I mean, they can call us dinosaurs and old-fashioned, but I'm going to hold on to this old stuff as long as I can. I mean, yes, we'll embrace the new technology because it lets us make power, but we're going to hold on to this old stuff. It's like E85. I'm trying to think. We got a viewer on here that is into E85. You know how many races I got lined up for the No Name Nationals? Actually, none yet. We was waiting a little bit closer to see who gets done and what's going on. And give it another couple weeks to make sure everything's going to be smooth on the motorhome. I don't want to be out here talking crap. And I mean, if somebody wants to race, I'll race them. I have no issue with that. But I usually just let the races come to me. It is what it is. It's the same around here. If someone's looking for me, if they want to race, they know where to find me. Tell me where, we'll be there, we'll try it. What's the worst thing that happen? You can get outrun? Yeah, I know, Amanda, you'll race me. You probably would. You try anyway. You try every night when you go home. If you're in front of me, you try to outrun me, so. But yeah, that's about it, guys. That was this week. It was pretty good. Said we're happy with the transmission, happy with the way the car is running. I'm still driving. Like I said, I put about 20 miles on it a day back and forth. So, I mean, I can't complain with that. It could be that I'm just an old crabby old man and I can deal with crap because I guess I could, if I had to hold wires together with one hand while I was driving with the other hand, I would probably do it just so I could drive this car versus driving a new car. At some point over the summer, we got to get the Ford out, get some work done on it. The tracker, I don't think I've started at one time since we got back from Memorial Day weekend. It's sitting over there in the yard. The tires are probably flat. We get tires aired up on it and get ready to go out and take it out. Dixie's in the house because she was barking and carrying on. But yeah, I mean, other than that, we'll see what happens. As the No Name Nationals gets closer, maybe by towards the end of July and August, that's when we'll start looking around and seeing who we want to race. I mean, we don't want to punch down on anybody or anything. As the car stands right now, the car runs mid-6s in the 8th on a no-prep surface, so if somebody has something close to that, yeah, we can do something with it, but we're not going to pick on anybody that's just out here having fun. Because we all were that guy. I mean, when we was 16, 17, we thought we were John Force. We was out there every weekend at the shopping center street racing. Not much. Just sitting here. A couple people. I got 7 people on here, Roy boy.
That's good.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's my daily driver, like I said, but I got to put up with a lot of crap for it, though, because to have it I mean, if you don't drive it on an actual slick on the road, it's worthless. It's like driving on ice. So I got to deal with that. Wearing out tires are kind of getting hard to find right now. And every kid on every street corner wants you to do a burnout because he don't understand that you got, Hoosier drag tires on the back that you don't really want to do burnouts just to do burnouts. You're not heating the tires up to race, and you're just wasting your rubber. I mean, I got a set of junk tires I'll throw on. If it's going to be raining for a couple of days, I got a set of 235s that I'll put on to run around, but I just put them on a set of stock steel wheels. I mean, I said that, well, that Roy boy too, that when it went to mid-5s that day, I was trying to run a quarter that day. I went 1070, but I broke two pistons in the motor because of a fuel filter. And I ended up, so from the 1,000-foot mark to the 1320, I only gained 1 mile per hour. So I was at 103 at the 8th, and then at the 1,000-foot mark, I was at 118, and then I rolled through the traps at 119, and like I said, it went 1071 that day. So yeah, I mean, Tommy was supposed to come down, say hey, but I don't know where he went. Well, it doesn't matter. I feel kind of awkward. I still got to get used to this whole thing of sitting here talking to everybody. And she walked away to find Tommy. Yeah, I got that. They got a short up of that video. It was rolling, but it was no big deal. I mean, that's the beauty of these LS motors, especially when you got these motors like this one. This one's an 05, so it has the floating rods on it. Literally, I came home, pulled the head off, pulled the 2 motor mount bolts, jacked the motor up, slid the oil pan off of it, went on eBay, ordered 2 pistons, and it ended up being like $60 for 2 pistons, and even got 2 rods with it from the same year motor. They came in the mail. A couple days later, I slapped them in and back out and running, cleaned all the broken stuff out. No issue. These LSs are real resilient like that. They're like Lego motors. You can just break them and put things together. As long as you don't tear up the bearing surfaces on the crank. And I got real lucky with both. I broke the second ringland on the pistons both times, or both pistons when it broke. So luckily it contained the pieces of the broken piston, was stuck between the upper and lower ring, so it didn't fall out. Oh, you was good, Dwayne. You was busy. I didn't want to bother you. I was going to let you know earlier, but it's fine. Maybe another week you can come out. Just start doing this for a little bit on every Thursday night. We get more people out here, it'll be more fun. I won't be boring like this. I have some people to interact with. Yeah, that LS swap in the Galaxy, if it runs like, I don't know if you're familiar with Street Race Channel, they got a real nice, with that Falcon with that LS in. That car is wicked. It's a stock 6-liter truck block, iron block, so you're running it on methanol though, and they got bigger injectors and stuff. But that was my issue with breaking pistons. I had everything. I had the big fuel pump. I got the 8AN lines. Got all that together, or all that in there, and ended up what happened. My fuel filter. I got snake eater injectors in there, and Brad said you have to have a 10 micron fuel filter for the injectors, and I ended up getting a 10 micron, and I did notice that it didn't flow enough gallon per hour is what you need, because when you run E85, you need to run a lot more gallon per hour than regular gas. So, and that's what happened. The LS fuel rail is huge and holds a lot of gas, so by the 900 feet out, I burned all that reserve that was in the fuel rail up, and the fuel filter just couldn't get the fuel in there fast enough. On the data logs, the fuel pressure looked good, everything was good, it couldn't push it through that fuel filter up there by the rail fast enough. So now I got this giant Aeromotive 10AN filter, or 10 micron filter in there now on a Dash 8 line, and they claim it'll support 2,000 horsepower on E85, so we'll see. Right now, like I said, the car is extremely heavy. I have a split bench seat in it, full interior, carpet, radio, all that. So the car weighs almost 3,500 pounds. So with that being said, at 3,500 pounds, 1071, that puts it somewhere around the 650 wheel range, which is not bad for all junkyard parts. And when I was on a live with Mr. Will earlier, and that's what I was telling him, guys. I got $4,000 in this car. And the most expensive component I bought for the car was the Holly. Yeah, the Holly was like $1,100. That was literally the most expensive part that we bought at one time on the car. Because, I mean, I got like the cheapest eBay turbo on there that I could get. I mean, I didn't go with the GT45. I went a little bit better with that 7875. So it was like the turbo was like $280, and just the little odds and ends. I made my own kit out of manifolds that I cut. Hi, Tommy.
Hi.
What's up, dude?
It's just coming out, see how things are going.
No, we're just sitting here talking. We got 9 people on the live.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I wonder how
Not bad for Thursday.
our last video did of the
It's going. Amanda said hi, Tommy.
transition where we did 5 minutes later.
It didn't do as good as the shorts. We got 10 people.
I mean, shorts is what this
Mr.
goes
Wills
on.
might be over. You want to have a seat? We got 10 people.
No, shorts is where you get everything. Shorts is
Yeah,
what
I
people
know. I
want to
love
see.
you. Hello, everybody. Just joining in. How you doing? We're out here just hanging out in the garage.
Shorts is what people want to see.
Yeah, well, according to that one guy, he told me he was unsubbed because he didn't want my shorts. He didn't like my shorts, so he was gonna unsubscribe. I watch it though. It's usually how those people are.
Yeah.
She said, "You can't see you, Tommy. You got to scoot over a little bit more. See yourself on the screen."
I was gonna say.
I was trying to do
like
the
the
tablet.
short form videos like TikTok and
Yeah.
YouTube Shorts and Instagram
Yeah, well,
Reels. That's what everyone wants to see.
I want to do longer form videos, but it's hard. I can't do it and edit and everything myself.
I mean-
So Tommy's here. Tommy got his learner's permit 2 weeks ago, so he's been
Amanda
driving
says I
around.
can't drive her car.
I'm gonna let him drive the Cutlass maybe this weekend. I told him it won't bite him. It'll only go as fast as your foot goes. So the boost ramps in slow
My
on that
grandmother
car.
says I have a
So
lead
Well,
foot.
heavy foot.
he might have a heavy foot, but the boost ramps in slow on that car. He'll be all right in that car. I wouldn't trust him.
Yeah, I think you can do it. You're gonna be driving the motorhome
Schultz,
too.
what's up, Tommy?
What's up, Schultz?
Just got my learner's permit
Yeah,
2 weeks
well,
ago.
Schultz knows you got it. I work for
Yeah.
him. He knows that. But Brittany drove the car before.
What one?
Mine.
Oh, the Cutlass. I was
Yeah.
gonna say
She can drive
Amanda's.
it, you can drive it.
Yeah, that's... Amanda says she
She
can't
can't
see
see
you.
you.
Yeah, we know.
We don't want it.
She doesn't want in it. What's up, everybody? How's it going? It's Thursday night, last day of June. Unfortunately, summer's speeding by so fast. That
It's
sucks.
the last day of June already.
We really don't want to be in a miserable, cold Northeast.
It feels like my last day of school was
we need
just
to
yesterday.
get. Yeah, we need to get bigger so we can afford to move somewhere where it
There's a
doesn't get
spider.
cold.
Just like right there. Looks like it could be a brown liquor.
Who's the haters? I didn't see no haters.
It'll be fine.
We like haters anyway. We're haters, so. No, we don't either. Like I said, don't discriminate. Hate everybody equally.
It'll be fine.
That's the best way. Life's too short to discriminate, so just assume everybody's an idiot until they prove to you they're not. Most of the time you'll be right. But we got a good group on here. This community, the No Name National community, this is an amazing
Oh,
group.
there it is.
What's that?
Just like the spider.
Oh, I was trying. That's a daddy long leg. Yeah, we got an amazing group on here. But I was trying to get the chat to work on here because I had the other camera, but I couldn't get it to work. I had my channel up. I couldn't see if you can get the chat on it. I had the live, but I couldn't see the chat because then I could have flipped it around and used a better camera. I could watch the live, but I wasn't getting no chat. But yeah, so yeah, so maybe we'll make a video of Tommy driving his first turbo V8 car. We got to get his. He's got a Honda Coupe. He's got a '97 Coupe. He's got to get. We got to get it down here. It needs a clutch, and I guess it's using some oil. I know she wants to drive again. She'll get her chance to drive. Max Wedge, what's up, guys? And Oldsmobile like that compactor 350 Chevy 4-speed. Never seen another one. Yeah, that's definitely, wow. What year was it, Max Wedge? This is an 80 here. All right, Roy Boy, thanks for stopping in, man. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Stop back anytime, man. We appreciate it. The long-term plans with the Cutlass is to clean it up a little better. I want to, it's my street car / no prep car. I want to keep driving it on the street, but I want to just clean it up a little bit. I was going to get a cage in there, so they don't chase me off the track. And then I just want to go around here. There's a pretty decent no prep scene between Ohio and that around here close by. So I want to take it out and do some of that. Yeah, mine's an 80. Mine's an 80. But you can, like I said, the difference with the 80s, the 79, the 79, 78, 79 has a single headlight, and the parking lights are up there by the headlights. Mine's the 80, and the parking lights are in the bumper. That's what sucks. That's why I got that homemade bumper on there right now, because I can't find an 80 bumper anywhere locally without paying a lot. I was just going to put a fiberglass bumper on it, but last time I talked to them, there was like a 4-month wait on a fiberglass bumper to be made for it. But so we don't want to deal with that, but eventually I'm going to put a fiberglass bumper on there. I'm going to clean it up a little bit, get a cage in it. And I got to lose some weight somewhere, like I said. That or make more power, one or the other. Lose weight or more power. But
More power.
down the road, yeah. Down the road, I'm going to redo this turbo kit. It's on a T4 flange right now. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to go to a T6 flange with a 3-inch crossover.
China turbo.
No, I'm going to go with that Borg Warner S480. And that right there. My goal is with this car, I like to keep it streetable and make around 1,000 horsepower at the wheels with it. But yet still be able to
That's
drive
possible. There's a production car right off the
it.
assembly
Yeah,
line.
well, we're
Hold on a minute. Not even modified. Right off the assembly line, you can just drive it around the street, and it makes 1,020 horsepower, 0 to 60, 1.99 seconds, top speed of 200, and it's not even modified. It's like that right off the production line.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, unfinished project. I know the stiffening. I mean, luckily with the Cutlass, I mean, it is a full frame, but quite honestly, I think it's floppier than a unibody car. There's really no structure to the frames. It's boxed from like the firewall forward and from the rear trailing arms back, and it's open C-channel from there forward. I mean, it's nothing a little bit of plate in a few hours with a welder couldn't fix, but I still want a cage. I'm fast enough at this point. I mean, they really frown on me at the local track. It's a IHRA track, and we go up for test and tune. I usually get dirty looks because, like I said, that now they're just running in the tens. And said it's been 1071. It's got a lot more in it if I don't break. So I think it's time. But I'm not going to get carried away. I'm not going to put like a funny car cage in it or anything. All I want to put in is just like a basic 6-point. Just enough to keep it safe, but not. I don't want nothing to bash my head against when I'm driving around on the road. Because that, to me, a roll cage on the street's more dangerous. You know, that chance, because that bar will hurt you a lot faster than hitting a padded interior will.
I wonder, do you need a cage and parachute if the car is stock?
No, see, that's weird. Now, yeah, now I got Tesla.
Because like the Model S Plaid. The Model S Plaid goes 0 to 60, 1.99 seconds,
Yeah,
and has 1,020 horsepower.
Yeah. Well,
The quarter of a mile is like, I think almost 8 seconds.
Yeah.
It's in the 9s, definitely.
Yeah,
I think it's
9,
close to 8 too.
9:20 or something. Yeah, I mean that's fast. But no, I mean, well, like the new Dodge
And it
Challenger.
has instant torque too.
Street lights are on yet. Yeah, I mean the new Challengers and that. What's the history on the car? Prior owners, cool stories. Okay. The history on the Cutlass here. My mom and my stepdad bought this car in 1996 or 7. It had to either be in the 96 or in the 97. It was around 96 or 97 they bought the car, and they drove the car for like 2 years. It was a factory V6 car, and it was all complete. And they drove it around everywhere. That was their daily driver. They bought it off a friend of theirs for like a few $100. They drove it around, and the car ended up blowed up in 2000. The transmission went out of it. Well, first the V6 blowed up, but we've had a 350 Oldsmobile motor we had out of an old Delta 88 that we stuck in it. And they ran it around for like a summer like that. And then the transmission went out. Then when the transmission went out, that's when like life kind of went haywire. And the car set from like 2000. We had a house fire. Was it 2000? 2000 we had a house fire. This car was parked like 8 feet from the side of the house. So much the reason it's primer black right now is because the original paint got blistered off of the passenger side from the heat from the house fire. But luckily the firemen got there. We wasn't home. The firemen seen the car set. They kept spraying water on the car to keep the car from catching on fire while they was working on putting the house out. But the house was a total loss. So at that point we was pretty much homeless for a few weeks, and then we got a place. So the Cutlass ended up being in storage, and then we moved to our new place. We didn't have room to work on anything, so the Cutlass set out in the backyard covered up with the tarp with the transmission out of it for probably another 2 years until we moved here where the shop's at. Now when it come down to the shop, I got this shop here. It's like 28 by 38. So when we moved here, I put the Cutlass in the one in the back corner of the shop out of the way to where I still had plenty of room, because I can get 6 cars in here parked. I mean, you really couldn't work on them much, but I can get 3 wide and 2 deep in this shop. So we ended up pushing the Cutlass up in the front corner out of the way and let it set. And it sat there for till 2017. In 2017, I acquired my first LS motor, and I had a Chevy Tahoe I was going to put. I had a 95 Chevy Tahoe, and I put a NV3500 manual in it, and I was going to put that LS motor in the Tahoe. And about that time, what is it? He said about 88, 455 parts, no carb on it, but it turns. Heck yeah, I mean, them early 455s, man, them make good power. That's before the government knew them. But yeah, so the car said that we got it out in 2017. I got it out and took it up to my house up the mountain. And then my mom's like, you should do something with that Cutlass. And I was like, oh, I should LS swap it. It's that with new carb. It should be alright. But so we decided LS swap it. We started playing around with it. I tore the car all apart. My daughter ended up with the front bumper. The front bumper was bent. Oh, that wouldn't be bad. To get a car for a couple $100, you could scrap them for way more than that right now, but take the good parts out of it. Yeah, the car has a lot of memories, because when we had the car when it was a daily driver, me and Amanda, we had it to DC, we had it to Charlotte, North Carolina. We drove it all over the East Coast. But so the car set, I ended up taking it apart. The front bumper was wasted, so I took that bumper off and put it on my daughter's derby car, because we was building her a compact derby car, and I was like, I'll just get another bumper. That was like in probably 2015, so they were easy to find, a little bit easier to find back then. So we ended up pulling the car out. I took the front end off of it, set it up for the LS motor. I got it running, because some stuff went bad there at the old place and all that. Got divorced and then all that, and then we ended up with the car back here again at the shop. Put the motor in it. The summer of 2019, I drove it around. I was just completely stock for about the first month, and I was running the stock computer, drive-by-wire computer that I just cut a harness down. I bought HP tunes to turn the anti-theft off of the computer. After we did that, I drove it for about a month, and I put a sloppy stage 2 and packed 12, 18 springs in it. And then I put 150 shot of nitrous on it, was playing around with it there, and I did that until March of last year, so it would have been March of 2021. That's when I built the turbo kit and put on there, and I've just been saving parts to have it. So basically I had nothing in the car but the parts. I got the motor at a junkyard cheap. I got They said the most expensive part on the car was the Holly. I went and bought a $150 8.8 Explorer rear ended, put it in there. Yeah, so the car's been around. And it's going to stay around. It's not going anywhere. It's not for sale. I mean, you couldn't put a price on that car. It's been so long. If I don't ever drive, if I get to where I can't drive it, it'll be Tommy's car or his sister's car, whoever wants to take it over and take care of it. They'll be the ones that take care of it. They said Tommy, he got a 98 or 97 Honda Civic Coupe.
I thought it was a 98.
It's a 97.
Okay.
The red one's a 98. The hatch out there is a 98. Yours, the coupe's a 97. And it has a D16Y 7 with a 5-speed. Like I said, we're going to be doing it because we got to put a clutch in it.
Really needs.
And probably going to overhaul the motor for now. And then probably an eBay turbo or something on there as he gets a little bit more skill. And then we'll start collecting the parts to do this case swap on it. My one friend out the road, he had a case swapped on it he sold because he bought a Nissan Skyline GTR. But he had a case swapped on it that made like 800 horsepower on E85. He couldn't keep a transmission behind it, but we're not ready to turn Tommy loose with that kind of horsepower yet. My brother has dad's 70 Cuda he raced 30 years ago. Just sits. He was thinking about selling it. Oh man, you should try to keep that in the family. If you know what I mean. Because they ain't making no new ones of these. So anyone you can hold on to, it's our job to save them now. Bad Tree, how's it going, guys? Thanks for stopping in. We're just hanging out in the shop. Yeah, thanks, Hemi Hog. Yeah, G-bodies were everywhere back in the 90s. I remember we couldn't throw a rock and not hit a couple of them. I've had lots of G-bodies. I've had more Cutlasses than any of them, but I've had lots of G-bodies between Buicks and Monte Carlos and Malibus, and they've all passed through our heads. Huh?
My sister has a Buick.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about like that Silver
the
Regal
old-
was at the car show the other night. Bad Tree Productions. Them guys got some wicked projects on me. Yeah, so other than that, like I said, we're gonna get ready to get the motorhomes tore or the transmissions tore apart. I get the spread.
We have a lot of things to do.
Not really. We're getting ready for nothing.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
still, there's a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the sprag for it. This is the sprag out of the motorhome. Then we're laying in the pan. This was the retainer from the back. See, we got lucky. It didn't spin the outer. As you can see, the serrations there, and it didn't tear the case up. Because that's what you usually ruin on these 727s when they blow the sprag. So, I mean, it's scored up, so we're going to need the inner. I'm going to a new inner and outer and the rollers and springs, but it could have been a lot worse, so at least we didn't destroy that motorhome case. The motorhome case has a different tail shade, has a bolt-on yoke. Yeah, we're like, well, that was that day I was stuck in the mud. So I got a little hot-headed that day, and I should have been going from reverse all the way down to the low, and I was only going from reverse to drive, trying to rock it out of the mud. And the more hot under the collar I got, the more throttle I give it. But I didn't think it broke that day. Like I said, I drove it to camp 2 more years after that, which from the old house, driving to camp was like, it was 38 miles from the house to camp and then back. And I drove it the 32 miles from the house up the dirt track, pulling the dirt car on the trailer with no issues, and we drove it. It was almost 50 miles to drive it when we had the detour last year to go to camp from where the shop's at. Drove it all the way up there, and it didn't make noise until we was leaving camp. We was pulling out the dirt road out of the campground up there, and I heard it, like when I let out of the throttle, I heard a rattle. And I was like, it sounds like something dragging. I thought maybe that someone left maybe one of the leashes to the puppies because we have to have them tied at camp. I thought maybe someone left a chain tied to the back bumper or something, because we had the dogs all in the trucks. We know we wasn't dragging them, but I thought something was rattling. So I stopped, put it in park, walked around and looked. That's weird. Pulled out to go, and I noticed, it's like, well, if I pull it all the way down to low and shift it manually into second and then into drive, it didn't make noise. If I just left it in drive and started out with it in low, then it made noise, and that's like the telltale signs of breaking that rear sprag, because when you're in manual low, it applies the rear band. So you don't have that problem of the sprag holding it, but when you're in drive and it's in automatic low, then the only thing holding that drum is that sprag. So I said, lesson learned. Learn with the 727, don't spin tire unless you're in manual low. Because that's how to say the problem. But yeah, we'll get that fixed up. I said, we're gonna leave the motor in it. You go to Sykes. The 440. Huh. You intrigued?
Well, it's gas.
It's fine. It gets 10 miles a gallon.
A whole 10.
Yeah, but look how many. It's got 3 gas tanks on it.
Yeah, I wonder how much it should be for a full.
I know the front tank on the front driver's side tank holds 40. The back tank on the driver's side holds 45. And the auxiliary tank on the driver's side holds 75. You gotta remember, that thing comes from a time when gas was cheap. Alright, Dwayne, yep, I'll see you later, buddy. I'll probably talk to you tomorrow before you head out.
That's like 160
I
gallons.
say 160 gallons times.
$4.99
Yeah.
is about $800
Okay.
to put it full.
160 gallons. So that technically, though, at 10 miles a gallon, that should get us 1,600 miles. That should get us there and back if we can average. No, we'll be pulling the car trailer, so we'll probably down to about 8 gallons. But I think
That's like $800 for.
if we fill all
Fill it
3
up.
tanks, we can get out.
Also, you need to keep this.
Yeah. What?
This tablet.
Why?
It's running an old version of Android, but it has apps you can't install anymore. I just
Yeah.
thought I'd mention that. You can't find them anymore. You
Okay.
should.
Well,
Keep
what am
this.
I gonna keep it? I had it out. I was.
Yeah, I
using
know,
it.
but like, don't format or anything. Is what I'm trying
I'm
to
not
say.
gonna format. I don't format anything. But we're gonna wrap this up in about 8 more minutes. We'll give everybody a little bit of time. It's almost 11 o'clock. We've been on here. I've been on here an hour and a half almost.
And I'm gonna head in.
Yeah, well, yeah, it'll be an hour because it's. I got on here at 9:30. It's not or 10:22. So we'll wrap it up at 10:30. Anybody got anything else they want to chime in with or whatever? Go ahead.
Android 4.4.2. That's
Yeah.
Kit Kat, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's Kit Kat. It might be ice cream sandwich.
No, it's not.
But we haven't forgotten either. We're still gonna throw nitrous on the Monte Carlo SS out there and spray it until it either goes fast or leaves the rods on the ground. But that's a Series 2 3800, so it should hold decent. We're gonna go ahead and hook HP Tunes up to it and license the computer. That way we can pull some timing to make it live. But other than that, we're not doing anything. We're just gonna add nitrous fuel and pull some timing.
I'm probably gonna head back
Yeah,
in.
just stay a couple more minutes, Tommy. We're gonna bail out of here. We're getting ready to.
I was gonna say I came out
That's
early.
it.
I'm probably just gonna.
Tommy's gonna go. Schultz going to bed.
Everyone's going.
Everybody's bouncing. Well, we appreciate it, though, man. Definitely. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I mean, we're greatly humbled that anybody would take a couple minutes of their time to listen to a couple knuckleheads like us talk. So we appreciate it. You guys don't know how humbling it is just to see that your dream of making videos is actually working. You're making stuff that people's watching. It sucks right now, but we're going to get better, guys. We're working at it.
Everyone starts small.
It's taken me 30 years to learn everything I've learned about cars. So, I mean, this is my first forte at YouTube. I've had a YouTube channel. I've had this channel since 2014 and never did nothing with it. It was John that inspired me to go ahead and push it. Yep, unfinished project. Good night, man. Keep up the good work. Stuff you're doing's awesome, man. You're really interested. I had a 78 Dodge Magnum. Like I said, I had a lot of Dodge pickups. And the last Mopar I had that wasn't my motorhome, I had a 74 Dart Swinger. And I sold it when I bought the property up the mountain because I needed money to buy land. But that happens, so, I mean, because A-bodies are my favorite of the Mopars. But we appreciate it, man. I appreciate everybody. You guys, words can't describe how grateful we are. Thanks a lot, guys. Good night. I hope everything works out. You guys get everything you need done. And we'll see you again next week if anybody wants to pop in. Oh, you have a 74 Swinger. I had a green one. It was a slant 6 car, green outside. It was like a metallic dark green, and it had green interior, bench seat car. It had the green cloth bench seat, vinyl mat on the floor. And as I said, it was a slant 6 with a 904. I kicked myself because the car was in really good shape. For a PA car, the only place it was really rusted was the lower quarter extensions in the back. And we cut that out, welded new metal in there. I used to daily drive it, but said that when I needed to buy the property, the guy offered me cash for it. I sold it, and I had a one-ton Ford dump truck. So he made me an offer on the Dart and the dump truck together that I couldn't refuse. So it bought me a house to live in for a couple years anyway. So no regrets. And I still got the Cutlass. Like I said, it's a family heirloom now. It's not going anywhere. So, all right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Good night. We'll see you later. Have a good one.